All right, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the weekly YouTube Comic Book Community Fantasy Football League chat. We got to come up with a different name, man. We really do. There's too many letters. What do you think?
Does the acronym spell anything?
Too many
Maybe.
letters.
Well, if the acronyms.
Hey,
Chuck, what's going on?
so we have Southpaw Brad, Mr. Chuck Hensley, and me, the Comic Viking, and we're gonna go over our results from last week and talk about some other stuff fantasy football wise. Let me go ahead and share my screen here so everybody can see. Okay, so here's the results from last week. I beat Mr. Justin Letters. Yeah, his team has pretty much fallen apart, and it was only one player, but I mean, he got handed a bad thing on the draft. He took a bad thing. So, but he's not going to quit. That's the good news. Brian lost to Patatouille. Comic Book Bro won by the skin of his teeth. Oh my gosh.
It's a tight one, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, 0.04. Dude, that's less than a yard. That's less than 1 yard. Holy crap. Chicago Blitz is doing his same old thing that he did last year. He's doing it again. Couple comics pulled it out against Terrific Comics.
I had him and then I didn't.
You had him and you didn't.
That pretty much sums up that game right there. I had him and then I didn't.
Scoring over 120 points and losing in our league is
that's
rough. That's rough.
And we had two. Yeah, it happened twice this week. So
I think that's the second week in a row that's happened to me. So
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, and then we got Hippopotamus lost to 22 Comics, and Southpaw Brad pulled out one for his first win of the year, just like me, over Comic Cap. And here are the standings. Chicago Blitz, Patatouille, Couple Comics, and Burrow Comic Bro undefeated, and we have a plethora of teams at 1-1, led by me with the most points at 1-1. So
most points and not even the most points against. So that's interesting.
No, I have. Yeah, well, I picked up Jordan Mason late last week. I picked him up right before the Monday night game because I heard that McCaffrey was out, and Justin had some kind words for me in the chat, and so. But now he's a starting running back for me, so it's a good pickup. Go Nia Jax. Hey, Papa Willie, how you doing, man? So I'll be on Papa Willie's channel every now and again on his wrestling chat, and I despise Nia Jax. I think she has no talent or anything. But that's I just don't like her. All right, and getting up for this week's.
So one of the divisions is a little top heavy there. There's a lot of That'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, you mean the one down here? With
the
everybody having a 500 or better except for one.
And
well,
I can get that. So yeah.
Yeah, but then
He's
like
got
200
points.
teams, and
Yeah.
So he's not like scraping the bottom of the barrel here. He's got 242 points.
Yeah.
So, but this one, right here, these three. Oh well, that's all right. Don't worry. I'm gonna knock off Chicago Blitz this year. I am. I promise you that. It's gonna happen. I got a pretty good team. All right. I am going against Hippopotamus this week. Brian is going against Chicago Blitz. Comic Bro is going against Justin Letters. Couple Comics is Patatouille. Well, that's going to even that self out right there. Yeah. Brad, you were taking on the Comic Vet. And Terrific Comics. Chuck, you were taking on 22. Let's look at that matchup first. All right. Okay, you're on the left. He's on the right. You got Geno Smith.
Well, yeah, that's because Jared. Well, that's because Jared Goff can't hit the broadside of a barn with an MX missile right now.
Well, he's got some issues, and we'll jump in that in about 5 minutes. We'll jump into those injuries and stuff, but that's part of it. He's got Kyler Murray, who's looked good last 2 weeks. Garrett Wilson, who does not have a connection with Aaron Rodgers.
No,
it's kind of weird, right?
We'll see if he does at home tonight.
Yeah, and Connor Goodwin's played out of his mind.
I don't know. Really I think they're gonna be doing the whole Bray Allen and Bryce Hall 2 running back thing after Bray Allen's show performance last week. That was really good. But you do have Josh Jacobs, who put up crazy good numbers last week.
He did.
James Cook, who seems to be the featured back in Buffalo, which they've needed for a long time.
Yeah.
Dallas Kincaid, who's the main tight end for Buffalo. Justin Jefferson, who was injured, left last week's game. Is he going to play this week, Chuck?
Yeah, he's pretty sure he's going to play. He's been practicing some. So that was one of those frustrating ones from this past week where, he got his 97-yard touchdown and he was cooking with gas. The next thing I know, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's not playing the rest of the game."
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks.
And you're gonna take that leap and you're gonna start Detroit's defense against Arizona.
That may change. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah, I haven't decided on my defense yet. So
with how hot he's cooking,
it's like take the over with the 52 total points. Take the over.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then he's got Brandon Ayuk, who's going to see an increase in targets because Debo's out. Mm-hmm. Brandon Ayuk, James Conner, DeAndre Swift, who is not amounting to anything in Chicago. Dallas Goedert, Khalil Shakir, Chris Boswell, and Houston's defense at Minnesota. That's going to be problematic for him.
Yeah.
Minnesota is doing very well, actually. Oh, I forgot. Oh, hey, Roscoe.
What's up,
Everyone
Roscoe?
I play has huge weeks.
Of course.
Making a bold move at utility spot. All right, we'll get there, Roscoe. We'll get there. All right. So there's your matchup. Are you feeling pretty positive about your matchup there, Chuck?
Yeah, I think I've been close the last 2 weeks. I just haven't gotten the right bounce. And
gotcha.
It's if my quarterback had shown up last week, I'd had a chance, and Chris just barely beat me the first week. So, we're hanging in here.
Hanging in there. All right. Yeah. Look at Brad's here. Joe Burrow, or the quarterback formerly known as Joe Burrow, going against Josh Allen. You're going to lose that one. That matchup, you're going to lose. The quarterback matchup. Sorry, man, you lost it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, listen to him. He's confident about Joe Burrow this week. Tyreek Hill and Marvin Harrison. You got that one. Jamison Williams, who looks to be the favorite target of Jared Goff right now.
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson, really? Carolina? Why would you start anybody on Carolina?
Yeah, the only people you start in the Carolina game is Las Vegas defense.
Hey, they might look like a completely different team this week.
That's true. They might get 3 first downs instead of 1. I agree with you.
Breece Hall against Ramondre Stevenson. That's going to be close because Ramondre Stevenson's running the ball good.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams, though, hopefully, I don't know. I think that's going to be a low-scoring game, honestly. I think that's going to be a low-scoring game. LA Rams and San Francisco.
Wasn't sure if they were, with so many, all of their star wide receivers being out, the Rams, maybe they have to lean on the running game.
Yeah. Oh, they'll lean on it. I don't know how well it's going to go, but they're going to lean on it. Then we got Parkinson against Hurst, White against Gibson, McPherson and Tucker.
I'm waiting on White to have to really do have a breakout game. I'd like to. I like him as a player.
So what's his injury status? He's still limited.
Yeah, I think White's problem is just they haven't been able to run block very well.
Mhm.
And
He
Baker's,
ended up coming back in that game
Yeah.
after sustaining the injury. So
Okay. All right. Yeah, Denver and Dallas. That's not smart.
no, I
mine
wouldn't play
may
the Dallas
change
defense.
also.
Why? Oh yeah, that should change.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, who's going to turn into a forgotten wide receiver. I think.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, that would you would think get him the ball and give your quarterback some confidence, but they haven't connected like
be able to get rid of the ball first.
Right.
This guy right here, though, that's going to be your surprise this year for you.
Yeah.
There, Brad. I think he's going to give him another week or two. He's going to be, he'll be.
I don't think he's had less than. Yeah, I don't think he's had less than 10 points this year yet. So
well, I mean, I just got to give him time to acclimatize himself, and really at Buffalo, it's not really a good game to put him in. It's not
sure.
Tutu Atwell could see an increase in targets, and so could. Oh, you went on the whole thing of backup Ram.
So one of them's got
receivers.
One of them has to.
One of them has to play.
Well, I think it's the same theory your opponent has on the Carolina wide receivers. So somebody has to catch it all. So
there's Brian. Hey, Brian.
What's up, man?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Kenneth. Again. All right. So wanted to see. Roscoe said he had a surprise at his utility spot.
I want to see this.
Bray Allen. It's not really that big of a surprise. I mean, after last week.
Mm-hmm.
But here's that Mark Andrews guy I traded. So glad I traded him. All right. Let's see what Mr. Brian LCS has to go up against Chicago, but you're going against the number one team in the league.
Yeah, my underperforming 0-2 team.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Smith and Jigba. St. Brown, Barkley, Kamara, Pitts. Jeez, Louise. What?
How did we let him stack his team like that?
Because nobody had any faith in Kamara.
Yeah, I'm going to say nobody thought the Saints' offense was going to be worth a trip.
Yeah.
So.
They showed a solid stat. They are actually they've thrown for 100 less yards, ran for 160 more yards, and put up almost twice as many points.
Wow.
From last year. I told everybody that defense, they had the easiest schedule. While I'm not starting them this week, obviously. But, So, Mr. Derrick Henry. Could have let him fall to me.
Yeah, Carr looks comfortable now, too. I mean, like, he looks really
without a doubt. Very comfortable. Yeah. Very, very comfortable.
Yeah, I just picked up Carr this week. I picked up Carr and dropped Winston. Yeah. Because my Love is hurt for me. So, the potential he may come back this week, but
I think Carr's stats put him in like the top 5, maybe top 3 or 5. I mean, he's up.
I think.
Right. Yeah. You just don't want a whole lot of those blowouts because he didn't really score a lot of points last week. He had a couple touchdown passes, but I mean, other than that's it. Nothing to write home about because Kamara was the show with 4 touchdowns.
I'm trying to think. I think Carr had more points than Winston for me for last week. Carr had
Watson.
Watson, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
John Watson, yeah.
Well, that's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah, but I mean, so week 1 for Carr, he had 21 points, and in week 2, he had almost 23 points. So,
okay, all right.
He threw for more yards, 1 less touchdown, but he threw for more yards, and I think he ran for a touchdown too in week 1.
Gotcha.
Week 2. I'm sorry, against Dallas.
Oh man, great! I got to go up against Dak Prescott. That's not cool. And Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase. Please don't play. Higgins be out, so they can't do anything. Montgomery, Bigsby is the backup. Ertz, not worried about. Rob, man, that's the killer right there. Demarcus Robinson. Prater and Pittsburgh's defense against the Chargers. Yuck. I'm considering. I put Mayfield in. I have Richardson. The numbers have not been kind. Not to my liking.
I think Tampa Bay's running the ball a lot too, right?
Baker's the number one ranked quarterback in fantasy points.
Yeah,
he's number one right now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with Baker just because.
That's a good trade-off.
Yeah, I think he's. I don't know. I'm just going to try it. Now watch, Richardson's going to rush for like 3 touchdowns this week.
Well, you'll probably second guess yourself and change it like an hour before kickoff. Anyway.
No.
That happens.
No, they get set tonight, and the only thing I do is take anybody off the IR before the game time. That's the only thing I'll do. And the comic vet is a mean person and took my kicker, so I have Dicker the kicker. But I am very happy with. I'm happy with my lineup and the way it's shaping up. Now, my bench leaves a lot to the imagination.
I think we can all say that, though, man, in a 14-team league. So, though anybody who's watching or watches this on the rewind, this is a 14-team league. We're familiar with players that most people haven't heard of. That's a necessity in a 14.
Yeah, team. Like number 4, number 5 receivers. Yeah, hey, who are these guys? Let's put them on my team.
And you better pay attention to that injury report. That's a good.
But I might be working a trade for Mike Evans. Just gonna throw that out there. I don't know if I need it, but I think it will help. Because while this is great, I was actually big on Harris this year. I thought he was gonna just come right out the gate, and he didn't.
I didn't have any. It's been happening for several years now. This
I know.
Decline.
But the thing is, he has more talent than Jaylen Warren.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so some big injuries this week. Wow. Where do we start, right? Freaking Tua. Tua's the biggest one, the concussion, and he got put on IR. McCaffrey got put on IR. That hurts. That helps me. But
Pacheco out.
What's that?
Pacheco on Kansas City, right? He's out.
Who's that? Pacheco?
Yeah, Pacheco's out also, yeah.
And who did you say, Chuck?
Debo.
Oh, yeah, Debo Samuel's out. Yep.
Cooper Kupp.
Jeez. A lot of banged up injuries. That puts it. Jordan Love, obviously from the week before. That puts it at what, about a dozen top tier players?
Yeah.
Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. There's been a ton this early.
I think that would be more. We saw the same thing last year, right?
Didn't seem like it was as early in the season.
You didn't think it was this early as last year?
I don't know if we had so many of the top players hurt in the first couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and the 49ers really kind of. So I drafted McCaffrey in one of my other leagues, and I had no idea. Like the injury report he was questionable the whole time, and then he played Monday night, and so I had him in the lineup, and then they declared him out, and there was no hint that he was going to be out.
No, the NFL is actually investigating that, and they're going to get a big fine, if not lose something, for that because they misrepresented his status. For anybody that knows it, the NFL has really particular rules when you have to about their statuses.
Definitely for the injury report.
Yeah, for the injury report. And hence why Tom Brady was on the injury report every single year. Every single game, every single week, Oh, here's one we forgot about.
Yeah.
Sure. I just remembered that. So
forgot about AJ Brown.
Kittle's out this week, so you talk about the 49ers and
Kittle's out?
I just saw it on SportsCenter right before we went live.
Oh wow!
Well, he's at least questionable. He's not officially out.
They're saying questionable. They're he didn't practice again today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean he could have a chance to pop off if he did play, but he's been kind of injury prone.
Brandon Ayuk's going to have a big week. Looks like. Hopefully Jordan Mason does too.
Or Juwan Jenkins, the other kid from Tennessee.
I don't know.
Somebody's got to catch the ball.
You're right. Somebody does have to catch the ball. It all depends on who Purdy feels he wants to throw the ball to. But here's another thing about Purdy. One last thing.
Thanks, Gene.
Looked at his Gene Malo. Hey man. Gene. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. But Brock Purdy's putting up better numbers than he was last year with these guys hurt, and they're top numbers in the NFL. It's for all those people that question Brock Purdy's ability to play. It'll be interesting to see how much they pay him at the end of the season.
Yeah. Whatever they pay him, they'll pay him for wins. They're not paying him for stats. They won't. He's a winning quarterback, and that's all they care about.
What is the most important thing in football?
W's.
That's right.
That's all that matters. And honestly, if he didn't get now, I don't think they were beating the Steelers anyway. Or not the Steelers, the Eagles in that game, in that championship game where he got hurt. He wasn't winning that game.
Right.
The Eagles defense was on another level. But yeah. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll look at some waiver wire pickups from this week. The transactions. Green Bay dropped Darnell Mooney? Really? He just caught a touchdown pass last week. So this person is the floating defenses for against Carolina.
That's
smart.
Right.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's not a bad gamble. Yeah.
Nope. Rico Dowdle, who's been named the starter for Dallas.
Well, he wasn't drafted. I'm surprised he wasn't drafted.
Dude, nobody has faith in Dallas's running game.
Yeah,
I guess.
That's the thing.
Hey, Tate.
Thanks, Tate. Thanks for coming in, man. Matt Prater, Greg Zerline. You don't like Greg Zerline? Smaji Pirine. Okay, so when is he going to see the field, do you guys think? Or when do you think he'll start getting a lot of carries? Or do you think the rookie is going to take more than him?
Knowing KC,
I think the rookie's going to get the shot.
Yeah, they're going to roll out multiple backs. They don't. I mean, even Pacheco is. I never felt like he had a full running back. A ton of carries. Maybe he did, but.
Hey, Zach.
It seemed like it was trending that way more so than last year. I think they switched more last year, but as their confidence in him, because he runs like a 230-pound running back, I mean, he's fast, but he's also runs with power.
He just runs hard and runs strong.
But they picked up Kareem Hunt, so
what does everybody think about that?
Where's when is Hunt? When did he play? Who did he play with last? That's what I'm trying to remember.
Cleveland.
He last played Cleveland.
Okay.
So when right after he got caught kicking that girl on camera.
Oh, that's right.
That's when the Chiefs dropped him. He got suspended, and then he came back and he played with Cleveland, and then Cleveland dropped him. Chubb got hurt, brought him back, and then dropped him again.
Yeah.
So that's why he's there. I think he's been out of football too long. I don't think he's going to amount to anything, honestly.
Yeah, it's tough, right? When those running backs seem to when they're out of football for a little while, they don't seem to come back in and
Nope.
do well.
No, they don't.
Wait until they add another. They start extending the season.
So
that's going to get really
Quentin Johnston. I picked him up on speculation just to see, because in LA it looks like the wide receiver is a wasteland, and Palmer all of a sudden is the guy out, not catching the balls. He's the only returning guy, and he's not the one catching them. And then Derek Carr, that was a big pickup by you. I think Derek Carr was, in any league that I'm in, Derek Carr was like the number one pickup in every single league.
Yeah, I mean, two weeks in a row, so we'll see what he does week 3.
He may be this year's Brock Purdy, so from last year.
Or Geno Smith 2 years ago, right?
Right.
Geno Smith. I don't know if I can quite do it as well as Chris, but I questioned it just like he did in that same stream. He just has the way he said it was.
Yeah.
We don't really have a whole lot of questions from audience, but I'm sure that'll come later in the season. People asking about trades and if you guys do have any questions, you're unsure about something, we can. Granted, we are not all knowing. It's everything, but we can give you what we think.
We're just as good as probably any other advice that you get out there. So
correct.
Yeah. Those guys on ESPN are consistently wrong. So
yeah,
without a doubt, all the time.
Jeez.
Well, I love watching like the end of the year, and you see the professional picks in their record where they're like 50 and 75 with their picks.
I was pretty good last year. I can actually look up and see how I was last year.
It's been a strange NFL year, though. I mean, you look at some of the teams like Philly losing. I mean, last week we had a bunch. I was surprised the Ravens lost. You had the 49ers. Bengals
Atlanta.
almost beat KC. Kind of
really
crazy.
Surprised the Ravens lost.
The Falcons.
Yeah.
I mean, the Falcons look like they've. I mean, that Bijan Robinson.
I read a report today that they don't think that Kirk Cousins fully healed, and that's why they're in the pistol instead of him getting up under center. Because I think they would be a lot more of an effective team with Kirk Cousins under center.
Well, he actually ran a few under, like the first couple plays of the game on Monday night. Yeah. He was under center. So
Grant, now remember, man, it was just this is just a stupid report. So it's they count as much as they weigh as much as a feather, So.
Well, it does seem like it's usually that second year where they really get back to 100%.
Yeah.
That after the first year of an injury, it's things are still a little bit shaky.
So I'm not sure Kurt's got an extra year or two to wait to figure out whether or not all the parts are healed or not. So
he doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Atlanta could end up. I think they should have beat the Steelers. They made so many mistakes on offense that, it was like, come on, you're giving the game away. And but they got a decent team, a very good team, very good talented team. And Bijan Robinson, man, that boy.
He's a monster.
He is a monster.
Yeah.
Hope he stays healthy. And the crazy thing is, Kirk ain't no, he couldn't. He just couldn't. It was just all. I think it may have been first game jitters. It could have been something like that. But
still trying to mesh with his teammates.
Yeah. And the Steelers have an acceptable defense now. Let's not.
No, they do. They do have a very good defense.
Very good defense. So
yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's why
I think Atlanta can turn it around. Atlanta and Tampa Bay, New Orleans, that could be a very competitive division. And unlike what we thought going into the year, we thought it was going to be trash. But Carolina is. We know that. But, I mean, Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, could turn it around, but I highly doubt it's going to happen.
What about Baker? Baker's been, after what, 7 years, he's finally figured it out?
Well, I think I mean, last year he threw for over 4,200 yards.
He had a good year last year.
He had a very good year. I think it takes the right situation, and some quarterbacks get that when they first get drafted. Some quarterbacks don't. I mean, it's
well, you got Baker and you got Sam Darnold, both of which were the starting quarterback for the Panthers. They go somewhere else and they start having phenomenal years. I mean, Sam Darnold that's a story that is not getting talked about enough.
No,
well, I want to hold that thought on Sam Darnold right now, because I would not, having watched him at Carolina and working with someone who's a diehard Jets fan, I don't trust this. I think Sam Darnold is currently outperforming himself. And now that his top two wide receivers are not there, let's see what he does.
Okay.
I want to be hopeful for him, but where we saw Baker be good in Cleveland. We knew Baker could be good.
I mean,
he was good with the Rams. That little stint with the Rams.
Oh man, he coming in that first week and almost winning the game.
Yeah,
had a cup of coffee in LA and did pretty well. But I mean, the plan was for him to be he was just a temporary puzzle.
Yeah, and he knew that.
Yeah,
he knew that, and that's when he got onto Tampa, and then Tampa figured, hey, we could use this guy. We can mold him. We can put him in the correct situation. I think Tampa is a running back away. Now, Rachaad White is good, but I think if they had a more powerful back, they could actually make a lot more happen. Just my personal opinion. That's all.
Yeah, well, and then you got Evans and Goodwin are not young receivers anymore either. They're still playing well, but
that's the downside. But I mean, Evans has proven doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. They've always Evans has always been good. He's been consistent.
He's one of my favorite guys. All right, so let's look at this week's games. Who we liking in tonight? Jets and New England in New York.
I don't know, because New England is actually play. I mean, you would say Jets, but I don't know, man. The Jets have been snake bitten with New England, and New England's played a lot better than most people, I think, have thought they were going to. Right there was talk of before the season started that they weren't going to win, 2 or 3 games. So,
yeah, it's true. All right.
Is Brissett starting for New England, or is it the guy from? Is it May?
I think Brissett.
Yeah, Brissett's been.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna pull a trigger on that when they're deep. They're playing sound defense and they're running the ball well. I don't think they're gonna pull a trigger on changing the quarterback unless he has a very bad game.
Yeah, I'd go New England then. Yeah.
You think New England's going to go into New York and beat them?
I think it's going to be a very low scoring affair. I think my personal feeling is we're looking at a 17-10, 17-13 ball game, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
See what Breece Hall does. I mean, that's going to be the key. Yeah. If they can shut down the run, then.
What's up, Rich?
Hey, Rich.
What's going on?
I'm hoping it's 35 to like nothing. And Breece Hall has 5 rushing touchdowns because I have Breece Hall in my other fantasy league. So
I'll take the shutout. I have the Jets D. So yeah.
I have Aaron Rodgers and Lazard, but I have them both on the bench.
Smart man.
Yeah, Rodgers kind of has. I mean, he played better in week 2, but week 1 he looked a little.
I think that's
a little rusty,
He played the Titans though too. I mean, he should have stuck a whipping on them, man. And then,
yeah, that was a close game. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, the Giants in Cleveland. So Brian, are we going to see life out of New York, the G-men, or are they just going to be dead all year?
Stick a fork in them.
I mean, I don't know. So they played much better week 2 than week 1, and then they got snake bit with their kicker, right? So and what I found out after the game was that their kicker was Gano had a groin injury going into the game, and the coach decided not to dress another kicker, and so he hurt his hamstring on the first play of the game, and then couldn't kick, and so
all right, so all right,
based on that, no, I'm going to say we're not going to see life.
I'm just saying, Brian, your kicker, he uses his legs and your hamstrings hurt. Hey, man, you're going to sit this one out. Let's dress a different guy.
Yeah.
I mean, just come on.
Yeah, no, that was a decision the coach made. So that's what I'm saying. It's like week 1, they played like crap. Week 2, they played better. And then they just had a coaching error, with a player management. So I don't know. It just seems like they find a way to lose. So I'm not confident that they'll beat Cleveland this week at all.
Well, I think Cleveland will do just enough. Zach is here.
Hello.
I think Cleveland will do just enough to mess up and give the Giants a chance, even though Cleveland's defense will, hold it down for the most part. But, yeah.
Well, all I know is Brian Daboll will make a great offensive coordinator somewhere next year.
Now, offensive coordinator or offensive assistant coach?
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Even if the Giants have a bad year, my guess is that the Giants will keep him and let them draft a quarterback. Because now this would be like the 4th time they've had a coach 2 years and out.
So
this is when do you
put that blame on the GM?
Should have been by now.
Well, but they didn't draft Jones. They signed Jones. They didn't draft him.
Okay,
exactly. They signed Jones.
You didn't sign Barkley.
Right.
Barkley doesn't make a difference for the. I mean, Barkley doesn't make a difference if Jones is still their quarterback.
But that's the thing. You get a different one.
Well, did you see Barkley drop the pass Monday night?
Yeah.
You're going to pull out one play?
That was
one play?
Barkley's stats were always great with New York, but he was never a difference maker. He never broke. He never, got that first down when we needed it. He was not a game changer. He's a great player. He compiled stats, but he wasn't McCaffrey, or he was.
If they had a smart GM last year before they signed Daniel Jones, they would have gave Barkley the long-term deal, and they would have franchise tagged Daniel Jones. This way, if he sucked it up, you say goodbye and you draft someone new, and they would still have a running back to build around.
Barkley's going to sit at some point this year with an injury, so
of course, but he's still a dynamic back.
Mm-hmm. But he's not a game. He's not. I wouldn't break the bank to pay. I was happy that they didn't sign him because I wouldn't want to break the bank. They made the wrong choice, though. They shouldn't have done that with Jones.
You say that.
Running back, you don't break the bank.
The only thing I'll say in your defense, Brian, is the Eagles' offensive line opens up holes that you can drive 2 Mack trucks, 2 big 3-ton.
Yeah, and the Giants don't have that. So you're wasting, what I mean? If you don't have a quarterback and if you don't have a decent offensive line, you can have the greatest running back in the world. You can have Barry Sanders. He's still not going to put you over the top.
No. You can't say you can have Barry Sanders and it won't put you over the top because Barry Sanders proved that wrong.
Barry always had a bad line.
Crap.
Yep.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
Somebody else. This is an analogy. But I understand what you're saying, Brian.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it works out for Barkley the whole year. We'll see what happens.
I will say this.
Barkley's going to miss at least 4 games at some point.
Oh,
that's
without
just his
a doubt.
MO.
Yeah.
I will say this: the Giants did do something right. That wide receiver they drafted,
Neighbors. Yeah,
Neighbors. They got it right on that.
Yeah. Now they just need to find a quarterback.
Well, has yet to be seen. Green Bay and Tennessee. What do y'all think?
Jordan Love might play, man.
What?
Yeah,
they're talking about
he's practicing this week. He's out there practicing today.
Do you all think that's smart?
I don't, but
no, absolutely not.
We just got done talking about the Saquon Daniel Jones thing, so
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Dang. I did not hear that, but dang, that's wow.
But in the defense of that, it sounds like he just kind of sprained or even partially tore the MCL. I did that exact same thing in 2000, and I was back in 2 weeks. So
you played quarterback?
Oh yeah, you should have seen me.
For the back.
I was the best option quarterback you have never seen.
Brett,
the option was to sit down and rest, right?
But you think about it. This was almost 25 years ago in Division III football. This is modern NFL. If it's not torn, there's no reason he can't be back playing.
Okay.
So he practiced. He practiced today. He was limited in practice, but he practiced.
Because with Josh Jacobs is doing better than I expected there, and if those guys do that and they have somewhat of an okay defense, I think they could be a surprise.
Well,
they've got to feed him, though. They got to feed him. He didn't have a great week one.
And they need to run some more sweeps and stuff with Jalen Reed, not just because I have him on a team, but
yeah, I mean that's just like Xavier Worley for the Chiefs.
Yep.
Feed him. You got that speed, use it, especially around the end.
Cardinals found out what happens when you do that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chicago, Indianapolis. This looks like a suck bowl all day, every day.
I'm going to go with the defense.
Yeah, Chicago's defense, I'd really say so, too.
No, Bears now that Buckner's out.
Oh, yeah, Buckner's out?
Yeah, I think Buckner's on IR.
Oh, wow. Missed that injury.
And that's bad.
Yeah, but I'd still go with Indianapolis because – I mean, Caleb Williams he still thinks he's playing Tulane at the Cotton Bowl. So, it's until he shows me he can actually win a close game, I'm not going to believe he can win a close game.
Everybody hyped him up so much, man. He looks like trash so far.
Well, yeah. I think the problem with Caleb is it's all mental. He's not relying on the talent of what he has around him. Because if he did that, it would be a completely different story because he has the talent.
That's the thing. Question. They gave him more weapons than any other Chicago quarterback has ever had in history.
I'd say they gave him more weapons than any rookie quarterback drafted number 1 overall ever.
That as well. But
except the line is a little shaky.
Right. But at this point, you kind of got to look at it like you're making fundamental mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly.
Is he better than Justin Fields?
No,
Justin Fields is doing in the offense.
Absolutely not.
No,
you give Justin Fields this same team. Justin Fields is 2-0 with a whole lot of yards.
Yeah,
and a whole lot of points.
No, well, Pittsburgh is glad they made that decision.
Well,
right, we are. Are you kidding me?
Justin Fields is still adapting to that. And it's going to get worse, unfortunately. I'm a Ravens fan, so I don't want Pittsburgh to get better, but they're gonna. So,
but the great thing for Fields at Pittsburgh, he doesn't have to be a savior. He just has to not suck.
Well, and that's kind of what he's proven. That's really all that he's proven so far is that he doesn't suck and he's not making stupid decisions. Like, okay, that's already a huge improvement from Kenny Pickett.
And he also knows the biggest thing with Justin Fields now that he knows 3rd down and 8, it's not there. All right, I'm just going to throw the ball away. Defense is going to come on the field and get me the ball back at some point. Yeah. I can rely on that defense.
Yeah, and that's only going to build up his confidence. Plus, Arthur Smith is a play action guy. That's what Justin Fields was built for, was play action.
Yeah.
So, like, the few times we saw it earlier in the season, it's like, hey, it looks pretty damn good.
So 2 big games after those: Houston, Minnesota, Philadelphia, New Orleans. And I say that's 2 big games because of how the teams are playing right now.
I'm going to go Houston.
Might come down to where those games are played.
Houston, Minnesota's in Minnesota and in New Orleans.
I think New Orleans
New Orleans intrigues me.
I think New Orleans is overrated. I think they're better than they look. I mean, they're not as good as they look. I don't
know.
I think they capitalized on some mistakes and stuff. And
but that's what good
that's
teams
the mark
do.
of a really good football team.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be short lived.
Okay.
I want to see them go up against somebody who's got a real defense.
Yeah,
and then we'll see.
So the Cowboys don't have a real defense.
They think they do.
If they did, they didn't bring it with them to the last game.
But
the first week was against the Panthers.
Right.
Yeah,
that doesn't count. We know that.
Bryce Young gave him the ball 3 times, so it was.
Yeah.
And
after seeing what Philly did against Atlanta's defense, which doesn't not a whole lot to write home about, I think New Orleans is going to take this one easily, and Philly can't stop the run.
The Saints are actually 2.5 point favorite too.
Mm-hmm.
So Pittsburgh hosts the Chargers.
Tough one, man. Chargers have the best run game so far this year.
This has trap game for the Steelers written all over it. This is
a trap game. It's just a tough game.
This is one of those it's like the Chargers are starting to reel a little bit. They're banged up early, and this is precisely that moment when Tomlin looks down the road a week and forgets to plan something, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, Justin Herbert is still Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he's hurt though.
Well,
Herbert's hurt.
Banged up.
Yeah, he's banged up.
Yeah.
He's playing, but he's banged up. But I mean,
it's just one of those. It makes me more uneasy than going against like a hard team because they're going to do something stupid. They always do.
Okay. I mean, I hope they do.
Well, I know you do, and so does every other NFL fan base.
No, not every not just every other fan base, just me.
The majority of them. The Chargers especially. We are not liked in Los Angeles.
Well, there you go. We were just talking about Baker and Denver. Baker going to Denver, or Denver coming to town to Tampa Bay, and Baker playing. Oh, is Baker going to continue?
I think he is.
I took them for my eliminator pool. I believe in Baker, and I also believe Denver's in a lot of trouble.
I agree.
You didn't take the easy out and took Vegas over Carolina?
Absolutely not. I don't trust the Raiders. I wouldn't trust the Raiders to wash my car, let alone
win. Like that true Steelers fan.
And besides that, I've had 2 weeks of how did I make it through the eliminator pool? Because I went Chicago week 1.
That's pretty brave.
Oh, I thought go ugly early, and I'm glad I did. Thank you, Chicago's defense.
Yeah, right.
And last week, I think I went the Chargers. It's like, and they gave me some moments, and it's like, what are you doing?
I think Bo Nix has a little bit of growing up to do in Sean Payton's offense because it's quite complicated, I think, complex, I believe.
Did you hear his post-game interview after the Steelers game?
And threw it to the other guy.
They asked him, so let's talk about the interception in the red zone. He's like, I threw the ball, the other team caught it.
I mean, the reporters really have to remember, like, you ask a stupid question, you got one shot. He's going to give you that answer. Like,
there ain't nothing wrong with that.
It was funny.
That's a pretty accurate description, actually. I like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's textbook definition of an interception.
Yep. So, Brian, Miami going to Seattle. What are you thinking about whoever that backup quarterback is?
Who's actually starting for Miami?
Is it Skylar Thompson?
Skylar Thompson.
I think it's Scott. Yeah.
He actually played pretty well, didn't he, last year, Brad? He didn't he come in for a little bit and played okay?
Yeah, he didn't.
He did
play
a little
badly.
Bit. We'll see. That's a tough call. I mean, rely on the run game. We got one of the top running backs in the league. So
yeah,
rely
is
on the run
Mostert
game.
going to come back, for God's sake?
I don't know, man. He's getting up there in age.
Miami on paper should be one of the best teams in the league, and so far this year they're not showing it. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that trip to Seattle is never easy, right? For East Coast teams. So
Yeah,
No, it's
you
not.
know that worries me too.
I'm thinking now that they're in there, yeah. I took Seattle just because they're at home.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and they haven't been playing bad football. They're really missing Kenneth Walker, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no. Wait till Charbonnet gets his feet going. It'll be fine. Charbonnet's a good back. So
Why do we have two
Baltimore,
Monday
Dallas.
night games this week? Does anybody
I don't know. I saw that too. I don't know why.
What's
Yeah,
that?
I don't like that.
2 Monday night games. Is one of them out of the country, or are they both in America?
No, America. Yeah, it's Jacksonville at the Bills and Washington at the Bengals.
And they start 45 minutes apart.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Why are they? What is the NFL up to?
I don't know.
Money.
Money.
Well,
There
yeah.
you go.
I mean, they're doing something right.
But you would think like week 1 they might do that, but week 3 it's kind of strange.
Well, they had the
well.
they had the Friday football because or something because of some technical loophole in the broadcasting law. It's like they're pulling that shenaniganry out. Why not have 2 Monday night games?
So now and week 4 too. I'm just looking ahead at the schedule. They have 2 Monday night games.
Really?
I hate that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
What? Odd.
Oh. So Baltimore, Dallas, people. What are y'all thinking?
I
We
think
all know
I
Dallas
think
is gonna
Baltimore is
do
going to capitalize.
I guess it depends on which Lamar Jackson shows up and which Dallas Cowboys show up.
What are you talking about? Lamar Jackson showed up every game this year.
That's not good.
Defense. And fourth quarter leads. I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. They were leading last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Different personnel. You're still strong defense. Still the same result. I don't understand it. And I hate to blame the refs, but I mean, Matabike got called for a face mask, and the guy didn't even touch his face mask. That was a 10-yard sack. That would have been it. But
Yeah. The ref ball has been really bad this year so far.
yeah, I'm actually picking Dallas in this one.
Really?
Wow.
I don't see Dallas get walking out of there with a.
Yeah, well, I don't like the way Dallas got humiliated last week.
So here's the thing about Dallas's defense. They have a pretty good defense to stop the run, and they have pretty good secondary. I just feel like that shallow part of the field is open always and often, where if they could just find a way to exploit it, that's kind of what the Saints did to them.
Well, that's where Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers live.
Yeah, like
in that part.
I just feel, if Raven can just shy away from the run game and just take all those shallows, they could turn it into big yards and just work their way down the field all day long.
Ravens are a point favorite, so it's almost a pick 'em at that point. It's kind of a coin flip.
It's at Baltimore, right?
No,
it's at Dallas.
Oh, it's in Dallas?
Yeah.
Well, the last 2 games in Dallas got blown out. So
even with it being in Dallas, I think it's still a toss-up. I stayed away from that one.
Then we have San Francisco, the beat-up San Francisco 49ers against the beat-up LA Rams.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Niners.
Is double forfeit due to lack of players and options?
Yeah, right.
What's the line on that one, Vegas?
I'm gonna say the 49ers are gonna take this just because of their defense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
the
agree.
biggest difference is their defense. But
Yeah,
geez,
the Niners are
Canadian
6.5 point favorite too.
Purdy's my quarterback in fantasy too, and he's probably only going to give me like 10, 12 points.
however, there is always that slight glimmer of he is still Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
True story.
It's been there before. You never know when it could resurface.
If one of those guys figure out how to catch a ball, yes.
That's it. Like you never know.
Yeah.
Well, who's his wide receivers? Puka's out, and now Cooper Kupp's out, right?
Yeah, let's go to Marcus. What is it?
DeMarcus Lawrence is the number one right now.
Yeah, that's why I grabbed him. I figured he would get at least acclimated. Nope, week 3. Guess what, kid? Oh boy.
I thought I heard LeBron James was working out for him.
Oh, Jesus.
They need something. They could use some.
They may as well.
Detroit, Arizona.
Take the over.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely taking the over.
I'm gonna go Detroit.
I think Detroit. Yeah.
I
still don't trust Murray.
Me either.
I do.
No.
I don't trust Murray, but I don't trust Goff right now. So I mean, at that point,
I trust Goff. I don't trust the coach.
I don't know.
I mean, if you want to pick one person out of both teams that you trust most out of everything, it is Detroit's coach that I trust more than
He
anything.
makes some bonehead calls, dude.
He's certainly aggressive.
So we call it bonehead calls. He puts his players in a position to win, and they got to perform. At some point, it's not their fault.
I get it, but sometimes you got to just take the points. If you're in field goal range, just take.
Well, yes, I agree with that 100%. Yes,
right. But you can't fault the aggressive nature of it and the success rate that he has.
I don't even know if that's a success rate. If you look it up, he's probably like 50-50, man. And that's
I think he is closer
to on the edge
than anything else.
Which is probably a lot more successful than other coaches.
It probably is, but he doesn't.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's still a huge risk.
I'm a big proponent of always taking the points.
Yep.
So,
I just saw too an article that his Campbell, the coach, his address got leaked online, and so
selling his house.
Yeah, they've been sending contractors and a dozen pizzas and all kinds of stuff to his house. So he put it up for sale. He sold it.
All right. So Kansas City, Atlanta. Is this going to be Kansas City's first L?
No, it might be, man. Atlanta's defense looks good, and Kirk came around last week. It might be.
No, because whenever Kansas City plays, it's always 19 against 11 because they always have the refs.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Here's what I'm hoping happens. This is what I'm hoping happens. So my team, Ravens, is 0-2. My college team is Florida State. They're 0-3, looking like garbage. Oof. So I'm 0-5. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this season. I want Kansas City to lose their first game, and then I'm going to throw money on them to three-peat, and I'm just going to ride the wave.
Let's look up the week 3 NFL script and see what happens.
All right.
The week 3 what?
NFL script and see who's supposed to win.
I mean, does nobody else see the new rivalry building?
The refs?
No, because Josh Allen and the Bills crapped the bed, so they can't use that. So now they have C.J. Stroud.
Oh, man.
Weird how 2 interceptions got overturned in week 1. So odd that.
Well, it's, yeah. Honestly, the Monday night games, I don't even want to talk about it. I think they're 2 Super Bowls. Buffalo's going to beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not playing.
Last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat them 6-3.
Yeah, in a barn burner.
Yep.
6-3.
6-3.
As someone who has a good chunk of Buffalo offense, I hope it's 42-35.
Yeah,
that would be good.
So long as Tank Bigsby survives.
As long as he doesn't touch the ball, I'm fine.
Jesus, I put him in thinking I was okay. 2 plays and he just exploded apparently.
Yeah.
And then Ingram was another injury for Jacksonville last week. Game time, he was out. He was not on injury report, and then he was out during warmups.
We all agree Trevor Lawrence is mediocre at best.
Yeah. And it's sad because I like him. I like him as a human being.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him as a person, but I just think as a quarterback,
he's sadly not very good.
I don't want to say he's terrible, but he's
not terrible. He's just not real good.
Yeah.
It's amazing that, right? You look at all of the college teams that we have, and that the NFL cannot find 32 qualified quarterbacks. Like, It's 32. It's not like we're asking for 500.
No, but also you have to
This is
look
why
at
they make so much money.
Yeah,
you look at the money coming from the NCAA, and then it's like, well, why is it that the first 5 weeks of the season you have Georgia versus the Rhode Island School of Design?
Yeah,
it's like
Boggs is saying
that doesn't. It's like,
young.
oh, look at these kids' stats. It's like he had 75 touchdowns. Yeah, but 30 of them were against Division II schools.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
So
and you remember, the Major League had that same problem with the pitching the last time they expanded the Major League, and all of a sudden you saw ERAs just shoot up because they couldn't find another 20 guys who could get the ball over the plate, and should have just taught them how to throw a damn knuckleball.
So when does the Arch Manning watch start?
Oh, it already began. It began.
It already started. They're already printing his jerseys here in Carolina.
It began when he went to the University of Texas.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, he's been hyped already. Yeah, and he was being hyped in high school.
Well, and it's because of Uncle Peyton there went on record saying he's the far superior quarterback even to me and Eli.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
his dad was
a big statement from him.
Well, they've always said that Cooper of the Manning brothers was the best athlete. Yeah. He was better than Eli and Peyton. So
it's just he had
but you can be the best in the world at something, but if you don't do the work and get your head into it.
But he's a Manning, so he's going to do the work.
Oh yeah.
You say that,
but you look at those highlights. Did you see the run he made to score a touchdown?
Yeah,
that's frightening. A Manning that can actually move.
Yeah, I mean he blew past
that's
the
a frightening prospect.
He was gone.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if Peyton Manning could run? Oh my God!
Archie Manning did a bunch of running back in the 70s.
Archie
was more like his granddad.
Of course, he had no choice, but.
He was running for his life, but
yes, he was.
Exactly. That was part of it. He was running a bit for his life. But.
So before we close it out, guys, with everybody on the panel, we're going to give everybody their bold prediction for the week. Zach, you're up first if you got one.
What am I going for? Bold prediction?
Bold prediction.
Oof. Come back
wins.
to me.
I'll go.
You'll go?
Yeah, come back to me.
My bold prediction. Andy Dalton throws 3 touchdowns. First week as the Panthers starter.
Just do they all have to be to the Panthers, or can they be to the Ravens? Can they be to the Raiders too?
I didn't specify. 3, definitely 3.
3 touchdowns. He said. He didn't say to who.
That is true.
That's a pretty bold statement. All right. Who else is ready?
I got one now.
You got one?
I think the Rams beat the 49ers.
Rams?
I think possible.
I think Matthew Stafford comes out and has his one game. It just happens to be against San Francisco.
Well, it's those division games too. You never know.
Exactly. I think he comes out and reminds everybody that, hey, I won a Super Bowl not that long ago.
Okay. All right, who's next?
I got one.
All right, what do we got, Brian?
The Giants will score some points this week. That's my bold prediction.
They
won't be shut out.
3.
They won't be shut out. Actually, you know what? Everybody's probably going to watch and say that's not a bold prediction. They're going to Cleveland to play Cleveland.
Yeah, and Cleveland is about 3 steps shy of a dumpster fire.
It is on the offensive side of the ball, but not the defensive side.
True.
Also true.
Might be one of the best
I'm
defenses
actually
in the
okay with
league.
that one. Chuck or Brad, who you got? We got.
I'm going to go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So my bold prediction is that the Miami quarterback, whoever that is going to throw 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns?
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I would gladly take
Thompson
that.
Mania, baby.
Seattle, that's something.
Yeah.
All right.
They both might be swing passes to chain, but
I'll take it.
it's all right.
All right, Brad, what you got?
I'm going to say Sam Darnold proves the naysayers wrong and picks up the win over Houston this week.
Wow. That's a big one.
Nice.
That's
Houston's got a pretty good team.
The reason they win?
What's that?
And he's the reason they win
I'll say he has a solid
because
game.
of his
I mean,
play. Is his game?
He's yeah. What's his rank? Where is he ranked so far this year?
Right now, he's ranked pretty much in the middle, above middle. Like
4
Yeah.
TDs, two picks for the year.
He's a top 10. He's a top 10 quarterback right
He's
now.
top 10 right now.
I
Yeah.
was going to say he has to be at this point.
Yeah, he's top 10 right now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Sam Darnold and the Vikings.
Okay.
Nice. I like it.
All right.
Well, you got to remember, Sam Darnold started 3-0 with the Panthers. What, last
He
year,
did.
the year before?
True.
And then he fell apart. So he's got one more good game in him.
I think the moment he takes 1 or 2 hits, and all of a sudden you're going to see the PTSD in him come back. And
The
And
PTSD.
Let's don't
Yeah.
hold the Panthers against him, though. I mean,
ghosts
Baker
will be
was there
back.
too, so-
no, we're holding the Jets against him. Forget it.
That's it.
yeah.
All right. I am going crazy. I'm going crazy on this one. I'm going to say Bijan Robinson rushes for not 100, but 200 yards against the Chiefs. 200. He goes for 2 bills against the Chiefs. Rushes, not passing and receiving. Rushes for 200 yards against the Chiefs, and Atlanta wins.
So that's probably like the second time I really got to watch him last week or the week before. Week before when he played the Steelers. That dude's the real deal, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a beast. He's got
Yeah,
power,
great.
elusiveness. He's got it all.
You know, and he really hasn't put up big stats. Numbers
He's
like
always had a
last year, he
shitty
was.
team.
Yeah.
Well, no, last year he was in a timeshare with Algier. That's why.
Yeah,
And
that's
this
true.
year he is the bell cow.
He's the guy.
So that's you're going to see a lot more stats. Hence why he ran for over 100 against Philly. Like you said,
You know, he had a good game Monday night for sure. Yeah.
He just, yeah, he's
And
crazy.
was it finally Kirk Cousins remembering that he's Kirk Cousins near the end of that game? I think he shook off all the rust. It's like, let's not forget.
What was that,
a
minute
very
to go in the
good
game,
quarterback.
he drove him down the field with no timeouts and in position to kick a field goal.
And it was a
That's
Monday night.
exactly what Everybody.
And it was Monday night, yeah.
Where
Yeah,
he
but
does-
the
Kirk
Eagles
does
don't
not win
mismanage that.
on Monday.
It won't matter. You know.
Kirky Dimes, man.
True.
He might live again.
But yeah, I'm saying Bijan Robinson goes off for 200 rushing yards, and Atlanta beats Kansas City for their first L.
All right.
Nice. I need a big week out of my running back, so I'll take it.
If mine took a handoff, that's an improvement over last week.
It's true. All right, well, everybody, that is our time, and the game's about to start. So go ahead and watch some football, and we will see y'all next week.
Later.
Later.